Hello and welcome back to my channel, and we rejoin our characters. They are currently resting in what they have discovered to be a sacrificial chamber. It's quite a brooding presence. They are taking it a bit easy after having spent the last hour exploring and coming over this room. I spent quite a bit of time, bit of investment in describing the room. It's show you on the map. It was this room here, 30 by 40, our first room that we had uncovered, and I decided to labour my mechanic, my theme and atmosphere mechanic, and we generated this little room. Because it had taken a while to explore, we came upon a wandering monster check, and lo and behold, we got a 1 on the D10, which we discovered was a group of 10 goblins. So 10 goblins are going to be descending on our characters. I'm just going to have a little bit of a process to say how we're going to play the scenario. So what I thought I would do, I thought I would blow up the room into and do a bit of DIY drawing. So this is the sacrificial chamber. This is the door that the characters came in at the start. They came in, toddled in, and they went, oh, this doesn't look too nice. It was all foggy, remember, inside the atmosphere, like it had not been disturbed for a long time. These were, there was a central altar with probably some terrible inscriptions in the runic lettering, and effectively some form of strange, perverted pentagrammic symbol in the middle, and maybe the eye of Varro being a central feature of that. There was a cage, we discovered a whistle, a stool, and I've discovered that cressets are now, they are like the incense that burn in these, almost like a holder with those little chains that hang to the either to a wall or to maybe to probably more appropriately to a post or something. So they're lying around on the floor. It's a bit of a state of disrepair. This is where the characters are. So I would say that they've decided maybe just to put themselves maybe not quite where the cage is. They are resting here, out of the way. I have also got a bit of a procedure to deal with the encounter. And I'm going to have a bit of a checklist on this. First of all, I'm going to determine motivation. Now, I had a bit of fun coming up with some motivations for the goblins. And I thought, well, why don't I go to town a bit and do a bit of detail on this? I might be able to recycle it for any more goblin encounters that we get in the ruined temple of Darkwater Lake. And I have my rule of four that I'm going to invoke. And I have 4 options currently with the characters. I have got what's called scavenging and hoarding as being one of the options. I have got hiding from a greater threat. I have got worship and superstition. And finally, patrolling and guard duty for a larger unseen force and faction. So what I'm planning to do straight off the bat is just roll for this motivation, which is the overall motivation is going to shape how my goblins react. And I think one of the advantages of this rule of 4 is it gives kind of more nuanced and more logical motivations to monsters that we meet in these places of mystery. It gives us a bit more to hang on to and shape the encounter. And maybe just when you see how it's phrased, each of my responses, I do go into a bit of detail about just how these monsters will react, and what maybe some of their tactics are when it comes to any encounter, and also some of the outcomes. You know, what would they do if they actually win the encounter, or what would they do if they lose? And you know, that can shape some of my role playing when it comes to playing that out. So let's just do this first. Let's decide what the motivation is for the goblins. And I've got 10 of my pawns, and I've done little numbers on it because I must admit, I was playing Homes the other day, and I just had 5 goblins, and I didn't have any numbering. I just had these little black things, and I kept on getting them mixed up and whatever. So I thought, right, you've learned your lesson, Brian. There's going to be 10 of these guys. You really need some way to track them. So I've got little numbers on it. So when it comes to the actual encounter, I'm going to be completely on top of the inventory of goblins. You know, 10 of them is quite a large number to control. I think 11 kobolds, maybe more, 18 giant rats, I think is my limit so far. 11 kobolds, maybe a similar number to these goblins, and I had them on little chits with numbers on. This is one level higher. I've now got a representation with a little pawn and their own numbering system. So I am just delaying the inevitable. Let's get the d4 out. This is going to determine what are these 10 goblins' motivation. So we have number 4, and number 4 is, according to my notes, is here we go. They are patrolling and guard duty for a larger unseen force and faction. Okay, so these 10 goblins are merely a small part of a larger, more organized, for goblins, force that has taken over part of the temple and the surrounding area. They are on patrol, acting as sentries or guarding a specific entrance resource for a cunning goblin boss who has established a small stronghold within the ruins. Ooh, so we have discovered a faction. The initial reaction, they are going to be alert and disciplined. 1 or 2 might immediately attempt to sound an alarm, which could be a crude horn or guttural shouts, while others take up defensive positions to delay the adventurers until reinforcements arrive. They will attempt to ascertain the adventurer's strength before committing to a full assault. So they have a bit of a response plan. They are a patrol. They probably have an element of discipline. This could be quite vital to the characters, being aware of this, you know, maybe if they do hear something, maybe it's a disciplined march of boots, and that is going to maybe just indicate to someone, say like an Aryan who is a ranger and has been out in the wilds and has probably come across goblins before. He might discern, hey, there's some different timbre to this noise. It sounds as though it's a bit more regimented. Maybe we have to adopt a different kind of approach, be much more alert to organized response. And they will attempt to ascertain the adventurer's strength before committing to a full assault. So they could be a bit cagey about things. And then I've got something during combat. I'm going to say they will fight tactically, attempting to draw the adventurers into an ambush or using hit and run tactics to wear them down. They will prioritize getting an alarm out and potentially leading the adventurers into a trap or towards the larger force. They will retreat if the fight goes poorly, but only to regroup with their allies. So this is all dependent, their strategy is all dependent on them raising alarm and getting in contact with their allies. So this determines the fact that there is going to be more goblins in this place. And it's probably going to be vital for the characters to extinguish this threat quickly. And that might shape their reaction. Obviously, they don't know this information. All they have to go on is maybe just some of the indications of what the goblins do and how they react, and it's whether they think, oh right, do they pose a certain type of risk to us or not. I won't go into aftermath because we're not at aftermath stage, but I thought that would just be useful just to give motivation. And I won't explain the other ones just now because keep them in my little kit bag of things that we can discuss if we have another goblin encounter. Okay, so that is number 1 off the checklist. Number 2 is direction, and we came in this door here. If we just look back at our map, this came from the entrance chamber. So the question is, have these goblins been out patrolling, and are they coming back into the area, or are they marching from one of these 2 doors here or this one here? So I would say that there is a good chance that they are returning from, or potentially they have even maybe spotted some activity outside, and maybe they are even following the characters. I would say, yeah, maybe if they get surprised, I could say that that's what's happened. If they don't get surprised, I suppose they're just out on patrol and they've just come across these adventurers. So let's do say a 1 to 3. They are coming from outside and they've come down here, or maybe they've come through one of these 2 doors here. So, but at least they've come from this door. They come through this door, and then we have 4, 5, and 6 as being the other options. I think that's probably fair. So let's find out what direction these goblins come from with a D6. So 1 to 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1 to 3, they are going to come through the door that we were on. So that, if I just get their leader as being, so they're trundling through this room in rather disciplined form, marching, boots stomping, that kind of noise. We can do our surprise, and that will determine really just on what kind of position we are in at the start of this encounter. So let's get our surprise dice, and because we've got our ranger, remember, rangers are only surprised on a 1 in 6, and he adds 1 onto the surprise chances of surprising the opponent, so they will be surprised on a 3 and 6. So we'll use white for our party and black for the goblins. So this is probably pretty vital to see what is the result of this, see whether Anarian is aware that they are coming towards them. So the goblins, they are surprised. The party is not surprised, and the goblins will be surprised for 1 segment. Okay, so because they score a 1, so 1 minus 0 is 1. That's the way you do surprise. So the party have the edge. They have surprise. What are their tactics? And also, I suppose, what is the distance? Now, we know that surprise it can only be from 1 to 3 inches, which is 10 to 30 feet. This room is currently 30 by 40, so we're over in this corner here, and I think on my scale I've got every 10 feet is 2 inches, so that's 20 inches away. So they're going to be at least 20 inches away. I think that is probably the surprise distance. So I'm just going to say that the goblins are starting to come through the door when the alert is raised. Although thinking about it, maybe Anarian is, because of his abilities, his ranger's abilities, he might even be able to detect the noise outside before they even come through the door. So there is a chance that they are another 10 feet and they might haven't even reached the door yet. So let's maybe do that. We'll do a straight 1 to 3 dice, and 5 to 6 they are beyond, they're 30 feet away. So no, they have actually reached the door, so they're 20 feet away. They're just outside. They're coming through the door. And Aaron says, "Look, take you know, I can hear somebody coming. Let's take defensive measures and wait. I'll get my bow ready. Adeline, what are your spells? She says, well, I've got sleep. I could maybe use sleep on any creatures that come in. The rest of our party are bracing themselves. We have got Tristan, who has got a bow. We've got Lindris, who's got his dagger that he can throw. And of course, we've got our bringer of light. We've got a daggerbolt over here. So I would say that our best form of defense just now is missile fire. And then we've got Adeline here with her sleep spell, that she is almost starting to prepare in her mind. And we can use that potentially if we could perceive there to be a lot of numbers coming in. So we've done surprise, we've done distance. We've got to do some of the mechanics, I'm afraid, which is hit points and armor. So I'll have to get my pad out for that and do the old. Now goblins, I've been looking at their statistics. So we'll have Goblin 1, which is our leader, and I've decided to call him Grunk Blacktooth. He is the sergeant or corporal or whatever you want to call him. Blacktooth. So he's going to be 1, and then we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And what we need to use are D8s. So if I get my D8s out, 1, 2, have I got another one? Yeah, that's 3 D8s. I'll just start rolling these. I'll leave Grunk out for the start because I want him to have the highest. I'm going to swap him in. So Goblin 2 to 4, we'll do them. And what we do is take 1 off because they're supposed to be 1 to 7 and have a minimum of 1. So we have 1 who's got 6. We've got 1 who's got 1. And we've got 1. Oh, that's a good one who's got 7. I think we've got our Grunk. In fact, what we'll do is we'll create that one as Grunk because we're not going to get anything better than that. And we'll take that one out for the time being. So that was easy. We've got Grunk. Our next 3. Oh my goodness, we're doing pretty well on these goblins. We've got a 3, we've got a 7, and we've got a 2. Okay. And so the next ones, we've got a 6, we've got a 4, and we've got a 1. And our last goblin is another tough one. So quite a tough little patrol. And when it comes to weapons, just on the monster manual, again, I think I'll use my, oh, that's the player's handbook. The monster manual says quite an eclectic group of weapons. And we can look at a bit more detail into the goblin entry, just to see what it's all about and see what type of opponent that we're dealing with. Spore, Ghast, and Goblin, Giant. Here we go, Goblin. Let's put that out of the way just now. So goblins, goblins have a tribal society, the strongest ruling the rest, allowing fealty to the Goblin King. It is possible that goblins are distantly related to kobolds. Like the latter, goblins enjoy dwelling in dismal surroundings, well, tick, although they tend to inhabit caves and similar underground places in preference to any habitation above ground. So they'll be spending most of their time underground. They too hate full daylight and attack at -1 when in sunlight, so they are underground just now. Goblins have normal infravision. This won't apply because we don't have more than 40, but if we did, there'd be all sorts of things with wolves and whatever. This is the bit I'm after, what they're armed with. Maybe just a quick thing on the description. you know, this is what they look like. Goblins range from yellow through dull orange to brick red in skin color. Their eyes are reddish to lemon yellow. They dress in dark leather gear, and their garments tend towards dull, solid-looking colors, brown, drab, dirty grey, stained maroon. Goblins reach the age of 50 or so. So their armor class is down as 6. Now, the way I've interpreted that is to have it almost as studded leather and shields. And when we come to do the weapon factors, I'll just have them down as studded leather armor as being for the adjustment for weapon factors. We're not using the monster's hide in this. We're actually using actual armor. So there's a wee bit of a complication there. On the weapons, the point I was trying to make about the kobolds was that I think I'll just give them a mix, because that'll be quite interesting just to see. And because I've got this numbering system, I can actually assign. So I'll just say we'll go short sword. In fact, it actually said leaders and guards will typically have the best weapons, bearing 2 of each. So I'll say that Grunk has got a short sword and a military pick. So he's going to use his military pick. We haven't come across a military pick yet, so that's quite good. We've got a short sword and a sling for this guy. We've got a short sword and a spear for this one. We've got a sling for this individual. We've got a morning star. We've got 2 morning stars. We'll have 2 of them. 2 morning stars. We've got a military pick. We've got the old military pick out again. He's quite a heavy bruiser. And we've got the spear for the last 3. So spears, spear, and spear. So that was an easy way to assign it. I don't have to be that pedantic about it. That gives us the range. And it just on the hit points, there were 1 to 7 hit points. So it was a D8 minus 1. Armor class is 6. They move at 6. So a bit less move than our characters. Damage attack is 1 to 6 or by weapon, so they all have weapons. They are lawful evil. They're not going to be too happy to see us. So that's us done. If we look at the checklist, we've done motivation, we've done direction, we've done the surprise, we've got 1 segment of advantage, we've done distance, we've done the hit points, we've done weapons. We know that Grunk Blacktooth is a leader. We can do a reaction of -20. I've really just got to play this out as they come into the room. Let's do that first. So we'll get our little characters and their little room back, just so that we've got that over here. Put that into the best position. And Arian's ready with his automatic bow. Now, he's got his bow ready. He's got 1 surprise segment. So what he can do is he can double his... ordinarily, he would fire twice every turn. But it's 3 times that he can do. So he can actually fire 6 arrows. You won't believe... Yeah, 6 arrows. So I'm saying that this Grunk Blacktooth, they start marching into the room. They are quickly surprised. They see these characters in the corner. They see the light source from Dagobert. They see the glowing blade of Darkslayer. They are forming up over here. We have a chance to start firing. I will say that there's another couple that are still trying to come through. But because they've kind of bustled through it in quite a brisk manner, there are quite a through into the room by the time we react and start doing things. We've almost deliberately let them come in slightly, to almost give us a few individuals that we can fire at. Now, I suppose we have to make the decision. Are we going to use our sleep spell up at this stage? Or are we going to just try to do some combat and see how we get on? Well, there's 5 of us. We can't really perceive just now exactly how many of these goblins there are, but we can see at least maybe 6 or 7 of them. There's one that's looking quite mean and brooding in the front, and he's obviously their leader. We think, well, why don't we see how we get on with our surprise, and then Adelin's always there as backup on the sleep if we need. The only thing that would be on the downside is that we've got this element just now. We could cast this sleep spell, and they're in a group. We could maybe take them out. Is that an option? Or are we just really wanting to just get stuck in? Yeah, it's a debatable one. I've found with some of my other, in fact, my recent experience of playing Homes with my little party, I was almost taking on the part that because I was playing a preset adventure, this Tower of Xenopus, it's basically mapped out. So there's no real kind of random element, and I thought, well, I'll inject the randomness in through the characters, and the characters to make decisions. Say if they want to go down one corridor or another, I'll do a straight die roll to say, well, you go take left or right. And also when it came to some of the decisions about what they were going to do, I did it based on a random thing. And I arbitrated on that basis. So I might do this as well and just say, in a split second, are we going to utilize one of our main offensive weapons at this stage? When we've really got so many other things we might have to face, or are we going to hold back? So I would say I would probably err on the side of trying to retain our offensive power, and use our combat power rather than our spell casting power at this stage. So I would say it's probably a 1 to 4 on a d6 that we would fight them, and if I get a 5 or a 6, we would decide to cast the sleep spell. I think that's probably the fairest way to do it. Yeah, I think that would be the best. So we kind of load the odds to fighting, but there's also a good chance that we decide, well, sleep is the way to go. So yes, we're going to do the fighting. So that was a democratic decision, and we thought through their thought processes. The fight is on. So that calls for combat table time. So we get our combat tables out, get rid of all my paraphernalia to do with the dungeon, and I get my combat tables. So we're going to take an Aryan first. He has got 6 arrows that he's going to loose against these goblins. We do know that he has got a short bow. He is firing at probably short range. And short range, you do not have any penalty. Short range for a short bow is 5. So we're definitely in short range, so there's not going to be any penalty. For hitting, he is a fighter of first level. So attack matrix for fighters for first level against armor class. Was it armor class 6, I think? I'm trying to remember. I'll get my little sticky post-it in here just so I can get back to the goblin infantry. Goblin is here, armor class 6. Yeah, good job I checked. I would have been penalising my goblins slightly. So armor class 6 for first level fighter is 14. So ordinarily he would have a 14. Are there any weapon adjustments? So let's say that they have got studded leather, so that classifies as armor class 7. So a bow and arrow against I'll have to get my player's handbook out for that, because I don't actually have the sheet with my weapon factors on it. So let me quickly get my weapon factors. Against armor class 7, an arrow. This arrow is bow short against armor class 7. Oh, +2. Right. Well, that was interesting to know. Yeah, so there you go. They're studded leather armor, bow short, +2. Very useful. Okay, so it was going to be 14. It now becomes 12. It was 14, wasn't it? Let's go nice and slow for this. Yeah, 14. 14 plus 2 is 12. So an area needs a 12 to hit. So, and he's got 6 he's going to fire. So let's get blasting. We'll get our D20 out. And arrows do 1 to 6 points of damage. So hopefully every time he has a hit. And what I'm going to do with the actual location, we're just going to do this randomly based on the ones that are in the room. So we'll have a 12 as the first one. So, 20. So we've got 1 hit. That's good. The second one. Yep, 12, that's 2 hits. Good on Anarian. Next one. Another hit. 3 hits. So he's really doing the Legolas on us. 19, that's another hit. That's 4 hits. So he's 100% hit rate so far. Yes. 5 hits. So the M16 blasting away. Oh, he has a miss. So 1. So it had to happen, I suppose. Okay, well that's a good start. I'll just do it randomly. I'll do a 1 to 10 and say this is the one he hits. So first one hits number 6. And it does 1 to 6 points of damage. So 2 points of damage against number 6. So number 6 is dead. He goes. So where is number 6? Number 6. Where is 6? Bang. So he's out of the game immediately. So that's our first one down. The next one hits, let's do it, number 2. So he's quite a tough one. He's got 6 hit points. He's got a short sword and a sling. So come on, Aaron. If you get a 6, you can take this one out. No, 1 point of damage. So he goes down to 5 on our little reckoner. Our next one that we're going to try to hit is number 7. Oh, another military pick job, and he's got 6 hit points. So we're obviously homing in on the tough ones. Yes, hit the arrow. Anarian must just have an innate sense. He says, "I'm really going to have to go for these ones with the military picks. They look really tough." I got an absolute superb shot there. So he has been nestling at the back. It must have just moved through. You know, if you could imagine this supersonic arrow flies over the altar. Almost maybe gets a bit of a kinetic energy from the eye, and it goes straight into the skull of this number 6. Number 6 is taken out completely. The military pick falls to the floor in a clatter. Goblin and no more. So that is our third shot. We have yes, it's our third shot. So we've still got 2 more that we can do. So what is our next goblin that we can take out? Number 8 is actually, I think I've been rolling the wrong dice. Yeah. Well, I suppose that represents the fact that there maybe are some outside the door. So 8 is spear, and that will be 1 to 6. And spear is 3, so he's down to 1 on here, and that's number 8. So he manages to get him just probably through another gap that the goblins are creating. With a shot. I suppose it is maybe just difficult maybe to rationalize some of this, because, you know, if you think of it, 6 shots firing off at once, You've got to imagine maybe these goblins are in a kind of, they've turned into a kind of mass of weaving bodies, and an area is just almost like picking individuals off as they move. And yeah, I suppose if you take them back to the Lord of the Rings film and Legolas, it must be very similar to that kind of aesthetic. And we're down to our final one. So let's have a look at that. So we get a number 7 this time. A number 7's been taken out, so we'll do another one. That's a 7 again. 9 is a spear. So we roll 1d6. 5 points of damage. Well, this guy could only take 1, so he's out. So number 9 is down. He's out. Okay, good. So that's the end of that phase with Anarion. Our next missile player is Tristan, and he has 3 shots with his bow. Now, would we say that Tristan has got his bow ready? Has he got it with not? I would potentially say that he has not got it ready. So I don't think he can get this advantage. I would just say that he just has his normal rate of fire of 2. In fact, that's the best I'm going to give him, because, say that he hasn't got this ready, it would probably take him the surprise segment to probably get it ready. Yeah, I might just give him 1, just as a kind of, he's quickly getting the bow ready. You think, right, I've got a chance to fire my bow. I'm going to do it. Anari's obviously ready, but I'm going to try and give him some backup. So yeah, I think I'll just give him 1 shot. And he has the similar chance as Anarion, because he's a fighter thief. So he'll go on the fighter table. He has a +2 because of his weapon factor. So he's also got a short bow, so he needs a 12 or more to hit. He misses. So obviously he was trying to get his bow ready too quickly. He basically fluffed it. The arrow they went straight up into the ceiling. Game over for Tristan. Poor old Tristan. We have another missile potential, and that's Lindris. And what he can do is he can throw his dagger. His track record on the dagger has not been that great. A dagger's range is short range is 1. So I would say that is probably, if I just get my ruler out again, I think that was about 2. Yeah, if it's 4 away, yeah, it's about 2 against one of the nearest ones. And this time I will be a bit more prescriptive and say that he's really just going for a couple at the front. A dagger against armor class 7 for a weapon factor is going to be against armor class 7. Our dagger. It's quite useful if I get my particular page for armor class adjustments on one of my sheets. So against armor class 7, just out 0. So he's going to need a 14 or more to hit one of these creatures. So let's roll for Lindris. He misses. His dagger has to be retrieved later on, if they survive, obviously, as well, because there's still 7 of these goblins. Reaction, I think it's not really necessary, because they're not, if we could just have a quick look at what their tactics were going to be, that was going to shape their overall approach to this scenario. Because the characters basically launched an all-out assault, I think the initial reaction is going to maybe just take a bit of a nightcap on this. So 1 or 2 might immediately attempt to sound an alarm, a crude horn, guttural shouts. Okay, so maybe that would be something that they would be thinking about doing. Yeah. while others take up defensive divisions to delay the adventurers until reinforced. All right, so they are potentially going to be a bit more defensive. They have been drilled to not to maybe engage with adventurers or anybody, any interlopers, and try to almost like form a defensive cordon and wait for reinforcements. So it's going to be quite important for our characters, basically what happens in the next initiative round. So I think that's what we'll do. I suppose we do have we have a potential option that we can maybe go back on the sleep, but I think we've made that decision. I think that boat has sailed. You know, we really kind of ruled out sleep at this stage. Sleep might have been quite useful to take incapacitate a further few of them. However, that is the case. So these goblins are starting to move forward. So it's really just a case of the next round. The first melee round is to do who has initiative. So yeah, this could be quite important. So we have black as goblins and red as our characters. So, white as our characters. So we get initiative, which is a good start. So I would say that Anarian he is still pumping arrows out, and I think he's just going to continue that. Tristan has also got his bow ready now, so he could fire a couple of arrows. Adelind, she could maybe, she's got a dagger. Has she got a couple of daggers? I think she's only got one. I think she's just going to stand back and keep safe. She's got the spell maybe as a backup, you know, if called upon. Dagobert is itching to engage. He's going to adopt a kind of flanking position here to make sure that none of the goblins take us out. So he's going to move across here. And Tristan is also with darts there. I think he's going to move across into this position to basically stop any of these goblins trying to outflank us, and head towards this door and maybe call for reinforcements or do something that's untoward. Yeah, I think that's going to be our strategy. When it comes to actual actions in combat, we will have Anarian firing 2, we will have Tristan firing 2, we'll have these characters moving around, and then we can do the goblins doing their fancy stuff. Okay, so we'll have another couple of firings from Anarian. So he needs a 12 or more to hit. So his first one, 13, he hits. His second one, 18, so that's 2. Anarian is doing absolutely cracking service just now. He is really riddling them with arrows. So yeah, let's do damage. So we've got these ones here first. Again, I think I'll just roll my d10 and select randomly. So for the first one, let's find out what we get. We get number 4. So number 4 hasn't been hit yet. We do 1 to 6 points of damage. 4 points of damage. So number 4 with his sling has been taken out. I think he sounds as though he was the only one that was like a missile character. I would say he's a good chance, the one that would maybe have a horn or some sort of you know, he's potentially the one that would raise the alarm. So he's actually out. So that's number 4 here. So he goes. So maybe that's a good thing for the characters. I think I would designate him as our horn alarm type goblin. Maybe they are on the back foot now and trying to raise the alarm. It's going to be down to shouting. They've lost or they have to retrieve the horn. So I'll put a little bit here where the horn is. So one of the goblins has to spend an action retrieving that. Yeah, I think that's probably the fairest. I did have an idea that the sling player would, sling goblin would have a horn. So Grunk Blacktooth is getting a bit fed up. He's seeing his unit being whittled away, his patrol. And there's still Tristan to go, so he needs a 12 to hit. And in fact, I've only done one. Yes, I've still got another one of Anarian's hits to register. So I've only done it against one. I've got to slow down. See, that's the trouble. If you don't just go in a nice, orderly manner, you start making mistakes. So that was Tristan's first shot. This is his second shot. It's going to get number 10. Number 10 is a spearman with 6 points of hit points. So what does Anarian get with that? He gets a 4. So he gets it down to 2. So number 6 would be... Oh, number 10 is... where is number 10? Oh. Number 10 is gone. Number 10, I've taken number 10 off. Where is number 10? Number 10. Where is number 10 gone? Oh, I've taken number 10 off by mistake. Oh, I think I took number 9. Yeah, I should put number 10 back. Yeah. So who has gone? So number 4 has gone. I've got number 6 gone. I've got number 7. Yeah, it's number 7 that should be out. He should be out. Yeah. Silly me. Yep, number 10, he is okay. Well, he's still standing. So that's Anarian done. Bit of a mix up there. I'll have to check that on the footage when I do the replay, no doubt. Yeah, it should be on the front foot when you're saying, Brian, I actually took the wrong goblin off there. It should have been number 6 or whatever. But hey ho, it's the heater battle. So Tristan, he needs a 12 to hit. So, oh, he misses. So he misses with his first one and his second one. Oh, 2 misses from Tristan. So his bow shots are all over the place. Maybe he's a bit freaked out by the situation. Maybe doesn't have a very good feeling about this room. Yeah, I suppose it is quite intimidating with all the kind of, these trenches for all the blood draining away, and this awful thing in the middle. And he's not too enamoured with cressets, and that whistle probably freaks him out slightly too. So that explains why he's not doing too well. That is the end of our turn. It's now the goblins' turn. Now, on morale, they haven't really lost. There's still 6 of them, and they still have their leader. So I would say that what the leader, what Grunk says is engage with them, and they don't go headlong charge, but they just move towards some of the other characters, forming a kind of rough cordon. And this guy number 3 will be as backup to these 2 goblins here, and they will try to engage with those. So yeah, I think that's probably, and we will be able to do, let's do a hand-to-hand combat here, and we'll say that Lindris and Dagobert can fight these 2. This one is forming a kind of support here. So number 3 is armed with, he's got his spear, so he's probably just standing behind here ready to jab at anybody that maybe forces his way through. And these 3 avoid the cage. That's probably a bit of, he's maybe hiding behind the cage. They think, well, we're going to have to maybe try to get to these characters. They've got missile weapons. If it comes down to initiative, they're probably going to be able to take us out. I think, well, maybe one of them would be able to, I think based on their briefing, they're not really supposed to charge. They're supposed to almost like form a defensive cordon. So yeah, I think maybe that is a limiting factor. They won't really try to engage. But I suppose Anarian and Tristan, they have a decision whether they ditch their bows and draw their weapons and fight. Yeah, well, let's leave them just now. Let's stick with Dagobert and this goblin. So when it came to initiative, we actually had initiative. So I would say that Dagobert's got the first chance to fight. Yeah, let's do Dagobert first. And Dagobert needs, with his mace, he's got a mace against armor class 7. Yeah, against armor class 7, his footman's mace is a 0. And while we're at it, we'll do the broadsword for, Lindris's broadsword will get a +1. So Dagobert against armor class 6 as a cleric. He needs, against armor class 6, he needs a 14. He doesn't get any bonuses, so he needs a 14 to hit this goblin. So does Dagobert smite goblin 10? He does with the 20. A fantastic blow. Straight between the eyeballs. His footman mace does 2 to 7 points of damage, so that's 1d6 plus 1. I'm sure that is the case for a mace. Yeah. Damage is against a small opponent. Footman's mace. Yeah. Horseman's 1 to 6. So 1 to 6 plus 1 against number 10. And number 10 has got, he's only got 2 left, so he goes. Number 10 goes. Good on him. So he disappears. So Dagobert goes, yes, by the power of Bane, I have struck down the infidel. Number 10, no more. Number 10 has already been removed. He's come back. He's been immediately removed again. So we're down to 5 goblins. Lindris with Darkslayer against Grunk Blacktooth. Oh, my goodness. It's all go here. Hey, remember, he gets a +1. He is a fighter. Fighters are slightly different against armor class 6. 14 plus 1, he needs a 13. He's got Darkslayer, which is a +2 weapon. Darkslayer is howling. Darkslayer wants blood. Darkslayer likes goblin blood. Will he get it? Again, what was it? Plus 13. I've forgotten my train of thought. +3 I'm going to add. So I need 11 or more for Darkslayer. 11. We get it. We get it. We do +2 damage. I don't think he has any damage modifiers because he is not like a Tristan with his strength. A broadsword does 2 to 8. So that's 2 d4s +2. So he does 2 +2 +2, which is 6 points of damage against Grunk Blacktooth, who still survives Darkslayer. He's still on his feet. He staggers back. What is this infernal blade? What is this? What sorcery is this? He manages. He says, "Right, we're actually going to get a hit in. Let's get my monster level sheet and find out what I need to hit this elf." Now, luckily, the elf is our best armored character, so we have 1 - 1 against. I think his armor class is. If you just bear with me a second, Lindris's armor class is pretty good. I think he is our best. He's armor class 2. So he's our Sherman tank. He is the one. He is the chosen one. 18 for this goblin captain, goblin corporal. Oh my goodness! He hits Lindris with his pick. And it was, oh yeah, there is one thing I need to check, and this could be unfortunate for. So we got a 20. The military pick needs to be tested against. I've now lost my player's handbook. This could be important, and I don't want to miss this out, and I want to give Lindris a bit of a chance. The military pick against armor class 2. Now remember, it's against the armor, and Lindris has got, from memory, and the reason I'm going very slowly is because I've just got to take this into account. So if you just bear with me, you will see where my thought process is going. He has got armor class 2. He has just got chainmail, right? And he's got a good armor class because of his dexterity. That's right. So armor class 2 chainmail. So against chainmail, which is chainmail is by itself. Chainmail is armor class 5. So a mace, a pick against armor class 5 is so complicated sometimes. Pick military footman's against +1. So he has, yes. I was just going to see whether he got any adjustments to his. So he does make, he connects with Lindris. He does his pick, his military footman's pick does 2 to 7 points of damage against a small or medium opponent. Yes, he shouts in adulation. 1d6 +1 against Lindris. So what's Lindris going to do? How much damage is we going to do? 3 points of damage against Lindris. Lindris's hit points is, I should have kept it open at Lindris. His hit points are 5. So he's only got 2 left. So I better make a note of that. I can scribble down here. I'll do Lindris. 5. He's taken 3. He's down to 2 hit points. So he staggers back. They're fighting over the stool. Who's going to pick the stool up? Who will use the stool in anger? It rages on. It's a little mini combat that's going on. Dark Slayer is going, right, I'm going to get you next time. Yeah. So these guys, they are moving in on these two. We're just going to have to, I think we're going to have to draw to say that round has come to an end. An interesting little debacle so far. We've had a bit of a ding dong between Lindris and Grunk, Blacktooth. We've had Dagobert smite a mighty blow in the name of Bane, destroyed, basically pulverized one of the goblins before their very eyes. We've got these 3 rather cagey goblins moving forward. Literally cagey, trying to avoid it. He's stepping on the crescents. He's not too happy. He's being kind of boxed in by this altar. They don't really have too much of a room to get through. And maybe that is the explanation, when it comes down fundamentally to the fact that they can't really squeeze their way through. So these 2 guys, they're probably just going to say, right, let's ditch the missile weapons. We're really going to have to get stuck in with our swords. Let's do some heavy action. But before we do that, we will work out the initiative for the next round. This could be quite crucial to what happens. It's even, Stevens, so it's done equally. We just do it based on. Do you do a reroll? I can't remember. Do you do a reroll, or you just do it at the same time? I think I'm tempted just to go at the same time. So let's just do that. So these goblins, they managed to wriggle past the cage. Tristan is standing there with his sword. Anarion with his sword, maybe taking on 2. Let's see. Adelind standing back with her dagger ready. She thinks, well, combat's not the place for a lady, not the place for me. I think I'll just hang back and watch. These chaps, they are ready to engage. Darkslayer is looking for revenge. The stool stands in between the 2. It is probably the debatable area that they are fighting over. Okay, let's do in combat by combat. So we'll start with Dagobert with his mace, and he got a plus 1, I think, was it, or a +1 or a +2 with his mace? Oh dear, do I have to go back and check? See, this is what I should really do when I'm doing, and note this for future combats, that when you are actually doing a complicated combat like this, and it involves things like armor and footmen's maces, yeah, it's a 0. So he was a cleric against armor class 6. I think he was against armor class 6. A cleric is 14. So he was a 14. He just stays 14. So let's see what Dagobert does. He misses. So this character, who is armed number 3 with a short sword and a spear, he's probably got his short sword drawn. He's ditched his spear. He's going to try to go for Dagobert with his short sword. Now his short sword will do 1 to 6 points of damage if he connects. Against Dagobert's armor, and remember Dagobert got increased to armor class his chainmail, didn't he? So let's see what a short sword does against chainmail in our weapon factors. Short sword against armor class. What is chainmail? Chainmail is by itself is 5 against 5. Short sword 0. Okay, so it's a straight on goblin, and I think Dagobert's actual armor class was revised to. I know you must be thinking, Brian, can you not get all your book work ready? You know, I was so much on the front foot when I was doing my Holmes one. I was absolutely over the stats. Maybe I should take a lesson. Although this is far more complicated. Armor class of 4 for Dagobert the Holy. This goblin has got a bit of an uphill struggle, I think, against that. So we'll have a look. Against armor class 4, 1 minus 1 is against armor class 4, 16. The goblin needs 16. In fact, I'll just put 14 for him and 16 for him in future. That's a good idea, isn't it? Put the little numbers down, you'll know from the future. He misses. So after all that, no result. We've got the title. Let's do these guys first before we get into this. Or maybe we should. I'm just seeing the time. Actually, we are really, yeah. We'll do this fight first, and then I'll freeze it. Let's find out whether Grunk does survive the night. Let's do Lindris's attack first, and I think he needed an 11 or more to hit with Darkslayer. He does. Darkslayer howls. It takes out. He will take him out because he's down to 2 points of damage already because of his. Let's just be completists and do 2 d8s and find out what a mighty blow it is. Sucks his soul into completely. 7 points of damage plus 2. That's 9 points of damage. You know, Grunk's soul is sucked into Darkslayer. It is gone. But does he manage to fight to attack? Get a hit on Lindris as he finishes. He got a +1, didn't he? With his mace. So he needs against armor class 2. He needs a 17 or more. His dying breath. No, Grunk is gone. He has lost. We have lost Grunk. Grunk Blacktooth, no more. The stool is won by Lindris. He claims the stool. Okay, I'm just gonna maybe just pause it just now. I've just seen the time and it's really going on quite a bit. I was a bit taken away. I think lessons learned is that I maybe need to I haven't done a combat for quite some time. This was a complicated one. There was a lot of moving parts. I think it might be better just to have a bit of almost like a little summary sheet. This has proved to be quite useful, having this. Probably one for the characters with their armor classes, the hit points, some of the weapon factors that we need to bring in. I found the weapon factor looking up has been quite a rigorous thing, and I'm just aware of them every round. We could do a much faster. There has been quite a bit of interplay of weapons. The things having arrows and lots of different types of weapon combinations. Yeah, I just felt that there's probably a capacity to maybe speed it up. But then again, you know, as a solo player, you know, time. What is time? You know, it's an elastic thing in this situation. I am conscious that I am trying to present this on YouTube, and it should be a bit more, maybe just a bit more snappy. Yeah, I suppose that's just one of those kind of learning curves that you do. I'm getting used again to a big AD&D combat. Okay, right, enough of this banter. Let us continue with our combat in our next episode. We've still got the exciting denouement of this situation between Anarion, Tristan, and the three goblins. It's looking on the whole as to be a positive outcome, that we are potentially going to snuff out this threat. And most importantly, though the characters don't know, before our presence was alerted to the other goblins in the complex. However, we do know that there is some scheming goblin tribal chieftain, or whatever you want to call him, in this complex. So the goblins are an organized force, and this is what I would have as one of my factions. And I am going to have between 2 and 3 factions in this temple, and we have come across one of our factions. So, okay, well, thank you very much for watching and bearing with me and my administration. I look forward to seeing you next time.